Hello everyone, welcome back to Mech Tech with Mr. Sullivan, that is me. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make an anchor in TinkerCAD, and if you notice some new features in this video, that's because I got some new tech, like the ability to add in the webcam like this one, and you'll see some features to where the webcam will go away, and you'll be able to see what mouse buttons I'm clicking, and what buttons I'm clicking on the keyboard, which is pretty cool. So let's get into it. All right, so we're going to make this anchor right here in this video. So I've already opened up a new design. I made the anchor prior to the video, so we had an example to look at. And then I have also already renamed it. So I'll make sure that you rename it when you get it open. And then let's get into it. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here into the basic shapes. And I'm going to scroll down until I find the tube shape. I'm going to bring that out. Once I have that here, let's go ahead and zoom in on it. See how it has all these sharp edges on it? We want to change that. We want to go to sides 64 because we like it to be nice and smooth. And then we're going to resize it. We don't want it to be 20 by 20 by 20. We want it to be 27 on the X. Remember, X-axis side to side. We want it to be 32 on the Y. That's front to back. And then we want it to be 3, gotta click on that, 3 for the Z, which is up and down. So once we have that done, that's going to be the bottom portion of our anchor. So it's going to be this portion right here, okay? Get that out of the way. We're going to grab a hold box, bring that out, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to resize it. This one, not quite as important. You just want to make sure that it goes all the way across and is up tall enough so you can really resize it to whatever you want it to be. And then you want to get it roughly halfway. If it's a little bit more, a little bit less, either way is fine. But you want to try and get close to that halfway point. And then, super easy, select both objects, and we're going to group them together. So remember, you can do this a couple different ways. You can either click on the group button, or you can hit Control-G to group it. Okay? And there you go. There is the bottom portion to your anchor. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab another box, bring that out. We're going to resize this where on the X-axis is 5, Y is 25, and Z is 3. Alright, grab both of them. We're going to align these. So we want to go center on the X, and we want to go all the way to the bottom of Y, so all the way forward on the Y. The reason why we're doing that is because we're going to actually grab this and we're going to hit that up arrow. We're going to hit that up arrow 2-3 times to get that up a little bit away from that edge. Okay. Once you have that done, go ahead and group it again. Then we're going to bring out another box. We're going to resize this one to 9 on the X, 3 on the Y, and 3 on the Z. There we go. And then again, we want to align it. And so we did center on the X and all the way back on the Y. Because we're going to do the same thing, we're going to bring that down 3 clicks of the down arrow on your keyboard. Then we're going to come down after we group, we're going to come down and grab this roof shape. Alright, so for this roof shape, we want to rotate it first so it's pointing away from the anchor. So we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. Remember, there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can hold shift and rotate it, and that'll do it. Do it 45 degrees at a time. Or you can just try and move it 22.5 degrees at a time on this middle one, or 1 degree at a time on this outside edge. Okay? Makes it a little bit more difficult to do it the 1 degree at a time, but you can if you want to. And then since it's below the work plane, we're going to hit the D button on the keyboard, and that'll bring it back up onto the work plane. Now we need to resize it. So we're going to go to let's stay in order here. Trying to skip ahead. 10 on the X, 5 on the Y, and 3 on the Z axis. Again, we're going to align, and then we're going to move that anchor up. So I moved it up 3 spots just to make it easy. You can go 4 if you want. I think 3 is plenty. So before we group this one, we're going to duplicate that shape, and I just resized it by accident. Duplicate that shape and move it out of there before we group it. So now that we have this, let's zoom in on it so you can really see what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to rotate it around where I'm sitting at 157.5 degrees. Okay, as you can see right here, 157.5. That one's very important to get that kind of cool angle that you see over on this one right here. So kind of that cool angle, and we're going to offset them so one side is a little bit longer than the other. Alright? So back down onto this one. Let's zoom in. Focus. There we go. So we're going to take this one and we're going to move it up close to where we want it, and then we're going to fine tune it by changing the snap grid to 0.01, and then we're going to be able to move it to where we want it. I think that looks pretty good right about there. So before I group this, I'm going to copy it, because if I duplicate it, it's going to try and redo that rotation and move it. So, I didn't do it this time. Okay. So, you can duplicate it. If it moves it and rotates it and all that stuff, don't worry about it. Just hit Control Z for undo, and then just copy and paste it, and then move it over. But once you get it over onto this side, let's focus in on the anchor here. Once you get it over onto this side, we're going to use the mirror tool. You're going to flip it on the x-axis. So it's exactly the same as this one, just kind of over on this side. And then we're going to move it and fine tune exactly where we want that one to be as well. I think that is pretty close to even on both sides. So from here, we're going to group it that way we don't accidentally move anything. Oh, that was fun to change our anchor to green. And then the last step, let's bring this one down here so we can see them side by side. The last step is to get this ring up on the top here. Alright, we're going to scroll down till we get to that tube again. Bring that out. we're going to resize it to 10 by 9 by 3. So 10 on the X, 9 on the Y, and 3 on the Z. And then you guys have probably guessed it. I think I went a little short on, I went a little short on this one. Let's ungroup so I can resize this. And I want to take that to, I don't want it to be 9, I want it to be 15. And we'll recenter it. That's pretty close. But just in case, let's get those hooks back connected, and then now we can use that align tool. And we're good. Alright. So now that we have this here, let's again use the align tool. Make sure it's all lined up, and then that is the only one that we're going to click for this, because from here we're just going to use the keyboard to push it down until that inside ring is just inside of the body of the anchor, so you get that flat spot. Alright, once you have that done, we'll make it nice and smooth. Okay, but once you have that done, you can group it together and you have an anchor. I think they're kind of cool looking. Get you used to moving stuff around, rotating, and just kind of grouping everything to make something out of some basic shapes. So that's what I got for you. Hopefully you learned something. Good luck.